こんにちは、マンチェスター日本探検隊のハウズイコです。今日はさてどこに来ているでしょうか。素敵なエントランスがありますが、では早速始めてみましょう。Can I have your name?
Robert Ketchell.
So Robert, would you tell me what you do?
I'm a garden creator.
Garden creator, what kind of garden?
I specialize in Japanese gardens and Japanese style gardens, really. Yeah.
So you design Japanese garden?
I try to.
Yeah. How did you learn?
Principally, I learnt by going to Japan and becoming an apprentice to a garden master in Kyoto, Kobashi-san. And
how long time ago?
That was 1980 when I went. Yeah.
So you went to Kyoto?
Yes.
Was that for that purpose?
No, not really. I went to look at Japanese gardens with an idea of travelling overland to India, and then just kind of fell in love with Japan, and I never left.
You stayed on?
I stayed in Japan for about 4 years.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah,
So how did it work? So you went there, and then how did you said you are apprentice, but how did you
well, I was introduced to Kobashi-san by somebody I met in Japan, who said that I can arrange a meeting for you with a Japanese gardener, and so I went to this meeting thinking it would be two gardeners talking together about making gardens, and Kobashi-san didn't speak any English. I didn't speak any Japanese. Everything was being translated. And at the end of this meeting, the person doing the interpretation said to me, he said, Kobashi-san wants to know when you can start. So I said, Start what?
Start what?
And he was offering for me to become an apprentice.
Amazing, right?
Which was amazing because the Kobashi Zoen, the company which had been going for several generations, I was actually the first foreigner to work with them.
That's incredible.
So it was very brave of them.
So he must have really liked you. So.
I think he kind of recognized that I was, quite serious. I wanted to learn. I mean, I had no idea what I was letting myself in for at all.
So what happened after that? So next day you went.
So well, basically, I think about a week later, I started work with them, and it was probably the most difficult experience of my life. In some respects, because I didn't speak any Japanese. I'd only been in Japan for a few weeks. I didn't speak any Japanese. Nobody in the company spoke any English.
So how did you manage to learn?
By making a lot of mistakes.
So you just watched what they do? And
But it was very frustrating in the beginning because I wasn't allowed to do anything apart from kind of sweeping.
Exactly, that's the Japanese way, isn't it?
Yeah. And also, I didn't realize that, I kind of expected, like my teacher, to explain things to me. We do this and then we do that, and we do this because we do that because. it took me a while to understand that it's a completely different way to learn.
Exactly.
You
So,
learn through practice in Japan.
yeah, so you watch what they do and then do
Yeah,
on
and then
your
you try
own.
and copy. I mean, I remember on one occasion I was pruning a plant, and Kobashi-san came up to me and he looked at the plant and just shook his head and said, no, as if to say, no, that's not good. But he didn't explain, what
What's
I'd done wrong.
wrong, or- yeah.
And then another time later, he came and looked at what I was doing. He said, very good, very good.
It's hard.
It's
yeah.
hard. It's hard.
So what do you think within the 4 years? After how many years you thought you were getting the idea?
Oh, I don't know. I think, I mean, I left Japan after 4 years because of family reasons, not because I especially wanted to finish my apprenticeship. I think the truth is, it probably took me another 15 years
15
to actually,
years.
after that,
Yeah, true.
to really begin to feel, and even today, I mean, I'm still learning,
So what did the Kobayashi sensei say when you're leaving after 4 years?
The first thing he said to me, he said, you realize that the first 2 years you are useless.
Okay.
It's only after 2 years you start learning something, and it takes about 10 years to train a gardener. And then even after 10 years, some people will be gardeners and some people won't be gardeners. And I thought, oh, well, maybe where does that leave me? But he actually said to me, and he gave me a certificate to say that, I was very good at pruning. So,
okay. That's very kind of him.
Yeah. So maybe he thought, well, okay, he's made a little bit of progress. But it took me a long time. The truth is, it took me a long time afterwards, at least 15 years, before I felt I really had a good understanding.
So you came back after 4 years. Sorry, you came back after 4 years, and then what did you do then?
And then I started my own gardening company.
Is that specializing in Japanese garden? Or?
I was wanting to specialize in Japanese gardens and introduce kind of ideas from Japan. I never wanted to kind of copy what I'd seen in Japan, but I wanted to kind of really understand and be able to use the ideas behind the tradition to find a way of kind of using those in a Western cultural context.
So
I don't.
A little bit of mixture then.
It's a kind of mixture, but it's like, learning about the attitude of a gardener in Japan, and then bringing that into a kind of Western setting. So I mean, the gardens I create will always owe a lot to Japan. But to me, they're not Japanese gardens. They're a little bit different.
So, how many gardens, so Japanese style gardens, you think you have created so far?
I really don't know. I mean,
Too many?
Maybe 200 or 300, perhaps, something like that.
Wow.
I mean, I've been doing it for about 30 years now.
30 years now, after you came back?
Yeah.
That's a long time. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you think, do you know why you like the Japanese garden so much? Can you say why?
Oh, that's a very complicated question. I think if I have to try and give you an answer, it's to do with that the garden touches a very deep place in the heart, and it demands a lot from us in order to create a garden to actually improve ourselves. And it's something often something very simple is actually very complicated to do. And that's a very interesting challenge, to be able to do something from the heart, truly from the heart, is actually very challenging. But that's what I think is, I've always believed that the Japanese garden is perhaps the purest form of garden that we know. And that's why I I was very interested to learn about Japanese gardens.
I see. So something deeply inside Japanese garden touched you, yeah?
Absolutely. And I've, never regretted. I've always felt I've got a great gratitude to Japan because it gave me my life. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I think it was meant to be the way it happened in Kyoto. It was meant to be that way. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you.